Hello, it's me again, back with another Final Fantasy XIV video. It was the live letter 52 this evening, and somebody can't do time zones and forgot when it was starting, and got a reminder about 10 minutes or so, I think it was, something like that, after it started, and I caught the last 4 seconds of this particular video. And I knew it'd be up on the YouTube channel at some point. So I've watched the rest of the live letter, but I haven't watched this. It's a dungeon crawl. So there's going to be some new kind of dungeon information and stuff going on, I would think. So it's 2:12 in the morning. Yeah, so the live letter has literally, and rather abruptly, just finished. So I wanted to watch this and see what it's like before I go to bed. There was some really interesting stuff in the live letter. There was a lot of trust stuff talked about, concerts. There was one thing that was really interesting that I've completely forgotten about now. What was it? It was something that I really thought was quite cool. It'll come back to me. Let's watch this video, see what it's like. Nice music. Not massively good quality. What quality is this set at? 1080p? Yes. There we go. Try that again. Dungeon walkthrough. I always like these. You know, I spend a lot of time in dungeons because I'm a dungeoneer. I like the dungeons more than the raids. What are they? They look like furbles. Kind of a spidery themed dungeon. Some more Kurubu and a bear? Open air. And a lot of kind of pure white versions of creatures that we've seen before. That's a manticore, isn't it? That looks like quite an interesting place to fight through. This, on the other hand, little bit of a Sastasha vibe. It actually looks a lot like Busker and Struthers from the Shroud. What the hell are they? They look familiar. That doesn't. What are those? Golems? Armadillo boss? This looks like it could be kind of a Thanalan style place. This is Don Meg, which we've seen before. I love the skybox in this dungeon. It's very cool. They showed this dungeon off actually with the trust system. And Yoshida deliberately didn't open the chest. Are those the FF11 Fungwa models? Or are they in 14 as well already? And I'm just forgetting them. I think they're just the original FF11 ones, which I really liked. What's this? Oh, these are the ruins. Tombury ruins. Apparently not Tombury's. What are they? Are those the avoirdupois? The floating cubes? I have no idea how you're supposed to pronounce that. Oh, that's the mural room. So it's in the dungeon. That's really pretty, though. That's some epic music. Hello. What? What? This looks like... What the hell? Is this the raid where we fight innocents? Baboon monkey-headed dog. I've forgotten this guy's name. What is that place? Yeah, the kind of slightly flat colours give it a really weird feel to it. And yeah, that final bit there with the is the bit that I'd seen already. Yeah, this, where is it? That almost looks a little bit like kind of God of War-esque. Yeah, original God of War, not the 2018 version. Are we going to be fighting on its back? It looks like it could almost be part of the dungeon rather than scenery. I'm assuming it's a boss, either way. But it was this that really... It's almost like it's being loaded in as we go. And that's really bizarre. And yeah, the colours, the white is... It's almost like it lacks texture. Like it's... I don't want to say plasticky. But there's something that makes you think, oh yeah, that's stone. But it doesn't quite have the right kind of lighting. And it gives us gives it this really unnatural look, almost as if it's like I don't know much about the terminology for the 3D rendering, but it's almost like it's got all the kind of light mapping done, but it doesn't have the full textures on there, if that makes sense. So it looks kind of video gamey, it looks kind of unfinished. And yet, they clearly wouldn't have shown it us if it wasn't finished. So this must be what it actually looks like. And it looks completely bizarre compared to some of the stuff, or compared to basically everything that we're used to. I think maybe it's because everything is so bright. And again, it's another outdoors environment. I suppose a lot of the stuff is going to be outdoors in Shadowbringers because of the opportunities that light brings. See, the contrast there between the white and the really vibrant green and the almost kind of... the humanoid is the word I'm after. Humanoid figures kind of stretching and reaching out. That clash between the white and the green is really interesting design. And these statues as well. The white and the gold is always such a nice, compelling colour. And again, the statues right up there along the top as well, with people kind of reaching up towards the heavens in the center, but almost like they're struggling on the way. There's a lot of detail, and yeah, you can see some of the lighting just on the figures above me there. Just that little hint of specular lighting, making you think that this is brand new white stone. Stone that has, I suppose, been irradiated by the sunlight, worn so smooth that it's become glossy and reflective. Is that what I'm trying to say? I don't really know. I'm really, really intrigued by this. And if this is the 8-man raid, because it does look a lot like the thing we saw from the launch trailer with all that kind of gold stuff, where we found innocents, unless we're going to fight innocents in a dungeon as well as in the raid. This could be the first 8-man raid that I do properly in a while, because I haven't done... I did do some of Stormbloods. I did the very first set of 4, but I'm not much of a raider. But this, if this is a raid, I will be really, really interested in seeing this for myself in engine as opposed to seeing it in a pre-done cutscene. There were another few things in this. Let's just skip back to the start. Like the music. Yeah, so this area with the burning forest, again, this kind of oversaturated landscape. We've got some diamites there. I'm interested to see what those kind of... What are they? Snurbles or something, maybe. I can't remember what they're called in 14. But you don't see many of them. There's some in... Is it... It's one of the Thanland zones. Near where one of the binding coils comes out. That might be what those are, but I think they're too wide. But yeah, webs and stuff going to be interesting. And the wildlife seems to be fighting. And we've got I can't remember what they're called. Those are zoo, I think, the big kind of bison things, the yaks. Those are the flying things from the Sea of Clouds with the cool curly horns, which I really liked. It looks like, I suppose if a lot of the action takes place in Yulmore, this could be, you know, the lands surrounding our version of Limsa, so the various areas of Lenosha. And it's got a little bit of that kind of feel, but a lot of the kind of trees are fir trees as well. I don't think there are any of those in Lenosha. I think they're more Kurthus. But again, we'll get to see soon enough. And it looks like there's one of those weird things here as well. Like, you just can't tell what they are. They're just too wrapped up. So yeah, we've got a manticore as well, and those look like gargoyle-style mobs, and yeah, there's loads of them. So kind of just kind of palette-swapped, I suppose, versions of Void Scent for Sin Eater versions of them. It looks like it's going to be a cool dungeon to go through, though. This one was very weird in comparison. What were these? What are these things called? And what game are they from? They've got the swords floating over them. Are they a Final Fantasy XI thing? Or have they been in this before? I feel like I should know. I feel like I've seen them recently, so I think they're probably in 14, but I can't remember. But yeah, they float swords and weapons above their heads. That's a new enemy, as far as I know. This big kind of golem. I've always been a fan of that kind of spectral green colour. So yeah, it looks like some kind of crystal mines. Which we're going to fight on multiple levels, for example, I think. So, you know, a kind of crystal version or crystalline version of Copperbell. With golems. And a big kind of armadillo. I don't know why I want to say Enceladus. Or Enceladus. Don't know why that word sprung to mind. That looks... I watched the... Everything Great About the Dark Knight Rises Cinema Wins video recently, and this has reminded me of the scene where Bruce Wayne has to crawl himself out of the pits. That's just what it makes me think of. Yeah, that's got a definite kind of mines feel. This obviously we've seen multiple times before now. Yeah, it's got that kind of anti-tower feel to it, musically. Now, when we first had one of the very first area videos, I speculated that this place had got like a tombery ruins feel to it, but that is very clearly not a tombery. That looks a lot like some kind of lich. Again, difficult to see in motion. I'm noticing also some bird statues up in the corner there. Those seem to be single enemy trash mobs. So we've got the companion cubes. I don't know what they're actually called. The square golem things. I really need to look all this up. This is going to be fun to edit because I'm just going to have to add in all the names of things that I just can't remember at 2:30 in the morning. And we seem to have little kind of Rubik's Cube versions of them as well. But it looks like there's this kind of advanced civilization underground. So maybe the first equivalent of the Allegans, possibly. So yeah, we've got a close up of that. There's also, I didn't even notice this, there's a golem there with kind of glowing sigils on its head, and plus more of those bird statues. Maybe they're Chozo ruins. I think they'd probably get sued for that. But yeah, they've got this massive also almost like totem pole structures. Makes me wonder if the New World civilizations on Eorzea have got this kind of architecture or something similar. And yeah, this is the cave. This is the cave that we've seen in the launch trailer. So we've got a calamity going on there. It's much clearer in this than it was in the launch trailer. And then we've got kind of Zodiac there being worshipped, or maybe this is the being that Hydaelyn and Zodiac was beforehand, being guarded by this giant bat-style creature. And then we've got over to the right the Sundering, where Zodiac and Hydaelyn are split. Sadly, we don't get to see the whole thing there, but we did get a better view of it than what we got in the story trailer. So it looks like we're going to get to fight a boss in that room, which is going to be interesting. I'm assuming we'll be able to go into this with the trusts, because I'm totally going to want to take a look around this room. And if we're in a party, they're just going to want to do the dungeon, because that's how it always works. So if I've got the trusts with me, I'll be able to take some time. That actually, they look like mountains in the launch trailer, but actually it looks very much like they are buildings. They are part of these ancient ruins. So maybe this was the very first civilization that was praying and ended up summoning primal versions of Zodiac and Hydaelyn, or something, or they prayed to a being that split and ended up creating primals. There's a lot of interesting lore ramifications about this, as people have been talking about for a day or two now. So yeah, again, we've got some more beautiful sunlight, beautifully lit scenes. And as I've said multiple times about Final Fantasy XIV, it looks at its best with strong lighting engine going on, and from a distance. Mind you, the environments always look good. It's just the textures of the characters that look bad up close. Also, I really like ancient ruins in games. And yeah, then there's this massive giant golem thing. Except that it makes me think of. Well, first of all, it makes me think of Titan from FF15. But almost like Atlas from God of War. This kind of craggy monstrosity. I know that Ethis has, in one of his videos, theorized that this kind of golden thing in the background is actually the flood of light that has been frozen. I've no idea. As does he. He has no idea if there's any truth to it, but it's an interesting kind of idea. But it's clearly where these ruins are. Yeah, they just seem to be phased in. This is the same kind of technology, that this kind of cube-like thing that the new machinist uses, I think, when it summons the Automata Queen, their new level 80 upgrades to the turrets. You've just got these figures sitting around, these statues of figures. But all of this weird stuff that seems to be kind of phasing in and building as it goes. And I think those are enemies, aren't they? I think those are the succubi, the Sin Eater succubi. And that's just so strange. This is our what I thought was kind of a baboon-headed dog from the launch trailer, but now we've got much better lighting on it. It's a wolf in kind of a mask, or 3 masks. So it's a Cerberus, but with kind of a more tribal feel to it. That's Froggy Boy. That's a very abstract enemy. We've seen her a few times now, so I think she must be a final boss, or maybe that's the final boss. Because we've kind of got entrance animations for each of them. Either way, there's a lot. There's a lot in there. Really impressed with that. Really impressed with that. Yeah, as somebody who mostly does dungeons as opposed to raids, this has got me really excited for continuing my love of the Final Fantasy XIV dungeon design. Just exploring these places and checking out the architecture and getting blamed for not tanking things properly should be an absolute pleasure when the game launches in all of 2 weeks for us early access subscribers. Lots and lots of really cool details in there if you stop and pay attention. Others, speaking of paying attention, I've just noticed that there's a hound mob there as well. Yeah, those look like really cool dungeons. And there's what, like 4 or 5 there? So that's clearly not all of them. Really looking forward to that. Even more hyped than I already was. I hope you've enjoyed this reaction and analysis. I do probably have to stop calling these reaction videos because people hate reaction videos. Myself included to an extent. But when it comes to analysis and picking out visual clues and stuff, that is kind of my jam. So if you did like the video, give it a like if you like. And if you are as sick of reaction videos as me, by all means, drop it a dislike and tell me that you hate reaction videos in the comments. It's not going to stop me making them, unfortunately, because I like reacting to new things, but there won't be many of them after the expansion launches. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a good day. It's 2:35 AM. I'm going to go and edit this together and try and find out the names of all those enemies that I've forgotten. Weapons. Weapons. Those... Where are they? That thing that I saw with the... Those things. Those are weapons from Final Fantasy XI. They're the evil weapons. Don't they? They carry swords and stuff and they attack you. That's got to be right. I was given my outro. Yeah, I remember those. Oh, it's cool to see those back. They were always really annoying. Thank you for watching, folks. Catch you all later. Cheerio.
Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe. Remember to ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, toodle pip.